There was a text from him, and he basically said, "I love you."
I ran up to a police officer and I said, "Just tell me my daughter's alive. I'll take her any way I can take her." He just started crying. He said, "I wish I could."
There was this very long message, and it said, "If you're reading this, I'm no longer a problem."
One policeman just folded his arms like this and shook his head. That's when I knew.
He was a really rough and tumble type kid. Even when he was a little boy, he was out there. I mean, he was riding a two-wheeler at 3.
Well, if there's an all-American kid, it was Kyle.
She's an amazing little girl. She's 2 years old. We used to have to give her jobs to do around the house because she would help you to death. And if you didn't give her something to do, she was doing it anyway.
He took part in saber fencing. He would face off against adults twice his size.
Big surfer. We live at the coast here in New Jersey, so surfing was probably, along with music, his favorite hobby. The evening he took his life, it was actually our daughter's senior prom.
Went to work at 9 o'clock. And I got a call around 11 from the school that said, "Mrs. Dorwart, we think something's wrong with Vanessa. You need to come to the school."
The phone rang, and it was my wife, and she said, "I can't wake Jeremy."
There was TJ's hockey bag, and on the hockey bag was his phone. I ran over to the police station to tell them what was going on. I showed them the notes.
And there in the kitchen was my wife. Standing next to her was a detective, and I asked him, "Was Jeremy dead?" And he said yes.
Where Kyle and his friends were that night was at a tavern, and that dark moment hit him. And, you know, we didn't find out, unfortunately, until the next morning.
The police came to tell us what had happened, that they had unfortunately found him, and it wasn't good.
And then my daughter, she called me and she said, "Mommy, I just saw the internet and I think Vanessa died." And I said, "What?" And I knew right then my daughter was dead.
Minding Your Mind's mission statement says that we're going to address the stigma around mental health in young people.
Mental illness is something that you can go through your everyday life with. It's not a death sentence. You can live a normal and productive life.
A lot of people misunderstand what it means to have a mental health condition.
We go into schools, we say, "Look, this is what happened to me. This is how I got through it."
We only use young speakers with personal experience to really reinforce these educational objectives, and that allows us to connect.
And we're there to simply tell our story, to let these kids know that there is hope. And I think if I heard that when I was going through my mental illness, I think things would have been a lot different.
And you can get speakers like Minding Your Mind in, that just is going to enhance your curriculum tenfold.
They connected with them, and then they really got them to open up to a lot of different people.
You have a unique story, you have a real person, dynamic speaker, and people are just glued to them.
Hearing Drew speak was an entirely different experience than what I expected.
When I heard his story, it was just so shocking and just inspiring that he was able to stand up there and tell what happened, even though to imagine being in that situation would be horrifying.
To put a face on mental illness and to hear a story gave it an identity that helped them to see that I'm not alone, I'm not the only person.
I think it's good that kids can see how people had these experiences, know that there's other paths to take.
It only takes one person to affect somebody's life. If I can help somebody's life, I will.
Minding Your Mind is such a unique organization because they really get it.
People with a purpose, great group of energetic folks. I have hope in how they deliver.
This is the best avenue, the best way to deliver the message.
They understand that when it comes to mental health, people need to talk about it.
They can get better. I can get better. You can get better, and they can get better.
It only took one person to save my life, and I know that I could possibly be that one person to help them.